What's going on, you guys? This is New York Adventurer 1994 here, and today is Monday, April 28th, 2025, and today we have had a massive blackout in Europe today. Places like Spain and Portugal were in the dark today, and we are not sure what was the cause of the blackout, and the mayor of Madrid said to keep your activities to a minimum and only use a communication device if it's truly urgent. And they wanted to keep the roads clear in Spain. And I was just watching New York Prepper's video of all these people walking in those tunnels, and thank goodness those tunnels had emergency lighting, because without a flashlight or any other lighting source, it'll be totally dark in there. Forget it, it'll just be pitch black. This is why you need to have food with you, you need to have water, you need to have a light source, everything when it comes to dark times like this. And they, they always tell you to listen to official sources for information. And like New York Prepper was saying, they try to say stuff like the outage was caused by climate change or this or that, and they use big words like oscillation and all that other BS. They say these big words because they just want to minimize the situation. They want to look at the average person like they're dumb or something. Yeah, the mainstream media is not really going to tell you the truth all the time. They're always going to try to minimize the situation, try to curb panic. That's what they're known for, curbing panic. So once again, the mayor of Madrid said that to keep your activities at a minimum and do not make any phone calls unless it's an emergency. They also said that keep your phone activity to a minimum and only use your phone if it's an actual emergency, like make an emergency call. So the cause of the power outage was unknown, but once again they're gonna try to draw these theories at us, like it was caused by climate change and all this, in order to minimize the situation. And of course it wasn't caused by climate change. That's just BS, guys. Yeah, I was watching his video and you could see all these people walking in the tunnels of the rail system, and thank goodness there's emergency lighting in there. And you could see all these other pictures that the traffic was just out of control. There's like vehicles everywhere. And unfortunately, the trains were electric, and they were at a ground halt, and people had to find themselves evacuate the train because nobody really believes in diesel fuel anymore. The trains were electric, and people had to find themselves evacuating the trains because they were electric and they weren't operating because of the blackout, and people have to walk in the hot weather Spain's dealing with. Yeah, it's really hot in Spain right now, and people have to evacuate in the heat and have to walk from there in order to evacuate. Once again, they don't believe in diesel fuel, and they relied on electricity with the trains, and the trains were not operational because they were electric and there was a blackout. And you could also see that the airports were packed, and there was just a lot of evacuates everywhere who were trying to get to the airport and trying to get out and evacuate. And a lot of transportation services were messed up too. A lot of businesses were messed up, and a lot of transportation services were messed up. And there was just a lot of people stranded because the airport was just a mess, and all the delays and cancellations too. And there were also people trying to get food and stuff. This is exactly why you need to have your own food with you and not just rely on grocery stores when it comes to outages, because you just never know what could happen during a blackout. I mean, if you try to go shopping during a blackout, chances are you might not have enough food if you go grocery shopping, because the shelves will be empty and a lot of people are panic buying. Yeah, it's just crazy. You can see all the photos and videos that it's really gone mad in Spain right now. There's no electricity and there's a lot of people evacuating on foot. And people had to get out of the trains because they were electric, and they had to stop because of the blackout and they weren't operational. Yeah, if they didn't stop relying on diesel fuel and they had to rely on electricity. Big mistake. That is an absolute big mistake they made. This is a big mistake the Earth makes. That they have to stop relying on diesel fuel and switch to electric. Yeah, that's a big mistake right there. This is exactly why I still think diesel fuel is more reliant than electricity when it comes to railroads. So, what a big mess in Spain right now and all of Europe. Places like Spain, Portugal, you name it, are in the dark right now, have widespread power outages. This is exactly why I stress preparedness, guys. This is a very serious situation unfolding, and we don't know what the cause of the blackout was. Once again, people are going to speculate like it was caused by global warming and all this stuff, or climate change. And they use these big words like the average person is stupid. And they just try to minimize the situation just to hide panic. So yeah, big blackout unfolding in Europe, and I guess that's it.